do is we are going to be recording this session, and I am going to start sharing my now. So the goal of today is that you learn more about how to work your dashboard so that you can have a plan, work your plan, and really use the site effectively. We're going to talk about how to schedule up follow-ups, how that all works from within your IQ office. And if you have any questions during this session, please let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them. This session should only take about 20 minutes this morning, and you will get a copy of the recording as well. So without further ado, this is what it's going to look like when you log into your IQ office. It's going to look like something similar to this. And when you log in, the goal of the system is that you really are working your daily list from this main screen. You can see there's some quick links here to your contacts and leads, to active listings that you have, as well as your recent contact activity. This is pulling all the recent contact activity that you have, so you know, hey, I can see that someone has a change in behavior. This to-do gauge on the right-hand side of the screen is pulling from two places. One, from action plans that you have had assigned to leads automatically, or you've assigned yourself, or two, from your follow-ups that you're scheduling with a client. So we're going to talk about how to get this gauge to populate so that you can really log in and just be working this main to-do gauge. And where you're going to start with that is underneath your contacts and leads. So how many of you have uploaded your contacts and leads to IQ Office and you have all of your contacts and leads in the system? Awesome. So a few of you do. Perfect. So what I'm going to recommend is, how many of you have assigned action plans to your clients? Or they just, your contacts are in there and you're waiting for the next step. So if you're waiting for the next step, type in next step. If you have action plans assigned, say done. Awesome. Perfect. You're at the right session then. So what I'm going to recommend is that you add 25 clients a day to either adding a follow-up or add them as an action plan. So I'm going to go in, we're just going to start at the top of our list, and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go in, and there's two things you can do. So you can add an action plan to a client. To do that, you're going to go underneath this Actions tab, and you're going to click this plus button next to action plans. And then you can choose from the list of action plans that either you or your company have set up. So either you have set this up or your company has set this up. The other thing you can do, if you don't have a plan that you'd like, you can manually just go in and click schedule a follow-up. So I'm going to click schedule a follow-up. I'm going to type the action names. Maybe this is a monthly check-in point. It will spell check you for you, and you can add a description saying something like, saw Kelsey at the grocery store, need to check in about real estate. Okay, so I make my description note. Then I'm going to choose the date and the time. So I can say, hey, I ran into in the grocery store maybe last week, so I'm going to start this on Tuesday at 9 a.m. I'm going to follow up with her, and I'm going to click save. Now, that follow-up action will be listed underneath the Actions tab, underneath the No Plan, Individually Actions. I can see that here. It also is automatically going to populate on my to-do gauge underneath my 14-day plan. So I can see here, okay, I've got follow-up with Kelsey Anfinson. I need to mark it as done. It's going to show the action description, and you're going to be able to go. So here's that monthly check-in. Saw Kelsey at the grocery store. I need to check in on a monthly about real estate. So there's that action. If you're using an action plan, all the steps in the action plan are automatically set up. So once you complete an action, the next action automatically assigns. If you are using a manual follow-up like this one, you would go in, you might say, hey, I texted Kelsey about real estate and if she knew anyone looking for an agent or information about the market. Then we go ahead and we go in and you click save. For a manual follow-up, it's going to say, when do you want to follow up next? Okay, this is a monthly check-in. I need to check with her and in a month. If you're on a team, you can assign it to a team member if you need to. And then you're going to make your notes. This is a monthly check-in about the market. And then we're going to click schedule. And now that follow-up is automatically scheduled for me. So I don't have to go in and worry about going back to my contacts and leads. So really what you need to do is go in. We're going to add 25 follow-ups every day this week. Depending on how many contacts you have, it's going to take you a few weeks to get through everybody, but you'll get through them. So you go in, you added a follow-up, then you click next. It will automatically scroll you to the next contact. You're going to go ahead, you're going to schedule your follow-up. You make your notes, you click save, and then you go to the next. You do that for 25 people over and over. And then what will happen is you will not have to do that again because your daily to-do list is going to automatically populate here for you. You also, when you go in and you add a new contact, so let's say that I met Catherine at at an open house or somewhere. I can actually go in, I could add Catherine to my database. Catherine. And I'm going to click save. Once I save that, I'm going to automatically say, okay, I met Catherine. I'm going to follow up with her. I told her I would call in a week. I told Catherine I would call her in a week with an update on new construction. Okay, I need that to be a week from today at 8 a.m. Okay, save and done. So as you're adding new contacts to the system, you're also adding new items to your to-do gauge. I know when I go in there and I say, okay, I'm going to look at what's happening. I need to follow up with Catherine. I've got the note in here. I make my note, I finish it up, and I automatically assign the next step so that I am really only working from this main screen for my to-do list. And I'm going in, I'm adding new contacts as I need to, and scheduling the follow-up there as well so that I know that I'm working my plan. I'm not working sticky notes. I'm not working notes on a to-do list. I know what clients I need to follow up, when I need to follow up with them, and it's all right here under the to-do gauge. Any questions on that piece of it? If you don't have any questions, go ahead, type no in that chat box so that I know you don't have any questions on that. Cool. So what I do want to just quickly show you, and this is not an action plans webinar, but I do want to show you how you can go in if you want to make your own action plan so you can just assign an action plan to a contact. And to do that, you're going to go into the tools and preferences, and we're going to go into my action plans. And when you open up my action plans, it's going to take you to your main action plan dashboard. So let's give it a minute while it's opening up here so I can see, okay, here's my main action plan dashboard. Now let's say I want to make a follow-up plan that's easy for me. So I'm going to click plus new in the upper right-hand corner. I'm going to name this. I'm going to call this my week plan. I'm going to apply it to people, so contacts and leads is the action plan type. And then I'm going to click save. Once I do that, it opens up the edit screen for the action plan, and I'm going to push add. So when I click add, there's several different kinds of items we can add in here. Today, I'm only going to talk about this follow-up request because we're talking just about follow-up requests, not about automatic emails and all of that. We have a YouTube channel and a Facebook page. I'll show you where all that is in case you want to go look up more about action plans. But I'm going to call this my weekly check-in point. I can add a description if I would like. I'm going to say that it's due after 7 days. So because I chose weekly, I'm going to choose it after 7 days. This could be your monthly check-in plan, and you could choose to do it after 30 days, or your quarterly check-in plan, and you could choose to do it after 90 days. You choose that. So I'm going to say due after 7 days. I don't want to blacklist myself if it's overdue. I do want to repeat it, and I want to repeat it every 7 days, and I want to repeat it every 7 days for as many times as I can. So now once a week, I have a plan that's going to automatically assign an action. Once I complete that action, the next action will automatically assign, and I can click save. So I can see here, there is my items and everything that's happening with it. So now if I go into my contacts and leads and I say, okay, I'm going to work my 25 leads that I know need to go on a weekly check-in action plan. So I'm going to say, okay, Whitney needs to go on that plan. I'm going to assign her to an action plan. Once I scroll down, I can see here's my weekly check-in plan, and I can click save. Those actions are automatically assigned here, and they automatically apply on your dashboard. So then I'm going to close out, and maybe I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to do the same for Tony Williams. I'm going to put her on the weekly check-in plan and click save. Now I don't have to worry about when I go in and I say I'm on my dashboard, and I'm going to say, okay, I know that I've got a weekly check-in here, weekly check-in point with Whitney. I can mark it as done. I say, hey, texted Whitney about Thanksgiving travel plans. And then we click save. Now I don't have to do that second step of assigning the next follow-up because it's automatically going in and assigning that next follow-up. So once it's due, it will populate on this list. You can only see up to 2 weeks out. If I want to go in and just double check that it did that, you can easily go into the contact, underneath actions. I can see that weekly check-in point is here. It's automatically going to assign that once that's due. Any questions there? Awesome. So on your list of things you need to do for the next, call it 10 business days, I want you to look at your calendar. I want you to time block out 15 to 20 minutes where you're going to go in and you're going to be adding follow-up items for clients or adding items to an action plan so that you can really start to work your main dashboard of what you need to do. Because what will make your life easier is say you block out in your morning from 8:30 till 10:30 to do all your client follow-ups or all your calls for your people. I can go in, I can easily see Mark's phone number here. So I can call Mark. Awesome. I'm going to call him. When I'm talking to him, I'm going to say, hey, Mark, it's Kelsey. I just want to let you know that I called the title company. I confirmed the closing date. Don't forget to bring your driver's license and that cashier's check we talked about so that we're ready to close. If you have any questions, give me a call, and I can say left message about closing details. Save. Now I can go right on to the next item on my list. So I'm making my calls. I'm checking things off my list. If I'm on an action plan, it's automatically assigning the next action. If I'm not on an action plan and I'm going to go, okay, it's not on an action plan, call in a week. Hey, Catherine, it's Kelsey. How are you doing? Great. Awesome. Hey, I wanted to give you an update on that new construction project with the large shops. They actually have a square foot max of 600 or 6,000 square feet. So the dimensions you're looking for aren't going to work. So we'll keep looking. When do you want to chat next? Should we put a time on the calendar? Oh, you know, she says, I don't know. Okay, well, why don't I give you a call in a couple weeks and we'll go ahead and I'll let you know if there's anything new. I make my notes, I click schedule, and I go on to my next thing. Everything's being stored digitally with that client. If I need to go in from here, I can't open up the client. I can see all of my notes about my client right here on the left or right-hand side of the screen. so that you can really start to work your plan. And the industry's not working you. The business isn't working you. You're working your business. The last thing I want to touch on today is how can you add things to this to-do gauge that are not associated with a contact. And you can do that by going into the tools and preferences and going into the to-do or calendar. From within this to-do calendar, you can go ahead, you can add an event. You want to add it to my calendar, or if you have something that says default calendar, that's where you want to add it. You'd add the subject. Maybe this is the Salvation Army bell ringing. And you can type in the address. You can say, hey, this is at 1500 West Riverstone Drive. It is on Saturday from 8 a.m. till noon. Save, done, and now it's going to show on my to-do list. Right here, Salvation Army bell ringing. So I can see other things that are happening on my calendar if I need to as well. So to wrap up today, just a couple things you need to know about. If you're not a part of our Facebook group online, we do have a Facebook group, which is a great place to go in and ask questions. It's called Realistic Users. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to type that link in the chat box. And if you click on that link, it will open in a separate window. We also have a YouTube channel. And our YouTube channel is called Realistic Support. We go ahead and we put in all of our videos go in here. There's how-to videos. This is a really great tool for you because there is this little search bar on the YouTube videos that is not on the Facebook, where I can go in and I could type in like action plans, and it's going to bring up every video that we have about action plans and how to use them. And the last thing that you should know about is we do list all of our training online, and there is a link for that, so you can see what upcoming training that we have and what training you might like to attend. And you can reach that at showtime.zoho.com/profile/realistic. Again, that is also in that chat box. And if you open those in separate tabs, you are absolutely able to open those in other windows. Other questions for me this morning? We're just about at that 20-minute mark, and I told you this webinar was going to be short and concise and to the point. I want to make sure that you're getting as much value as you can. I also want to make sure I'm respecting your time. I know you're all very busy and you've got a lot going on. You will get a copy of this recording. It will be by the end of the day today. It will also be posted on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. And I hope you all have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.